Well, hello, Mr. President. How are you this evening? Oh, don't worry about the A1s. Don't worry about the A1s. That is just no. It's all part of this whole fantastic thing we're doing. Yes. Well, guess what? Strocky Poo's gonna go ahead and do something hilarious. Well, I know he's going to testify before Congress. He's eventually going to lead to Clinton indictments, I know. It's going to be fantastic. Do you know what he's doing? I can't tell you. You're never going to believe it. He wants to sign a deal with Viagra, the company that makes the little blue pill. Yes. Unbelievable. I don't know if I have no idea. I have no idea, yes. He wants to be the poster child. No, I don't have ED. Mr. President, if there's anyone that doesn't need a pill, it's me. Well, thank you, sir. No. Well, Strzok and if FBI1061.com. Yes, I know. All they were doing was stooping each other left and right. Well, Strocky Poo thinks he's the stallion. I don't know, the FBI stallion. Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start this telecast, this broadcast, whatever it is, this live stream. Poo-poo out. Talk to you later. Spider-Man Underoos. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks, Donnie. I can't call you Donnie. Okay, Mr. President. Okay, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And we have, 2 minutes, 167 people. Not bad. House panel subpoenas FBI agent Strzok for second round of questioning of testimony. The Office of Professional Responsibility will be the reason that Strzok eventually flips and sings. You hear about this flipping and singing. Oh, he's going to flip and sing. He's going to flip and sing. Rick Gates is going to flip and sing. Nothing. Papadopoulos is going to flip and sing. Nothing. Oh my God, look, this person lied to the FBI. Actually, nobody. General Flynn did not lie, and nobody, the FBI actually stated he didn't, and they very likely altered the 302s. And an early 4th of July, an early happy 4th of July to everybody. But so who flipped and sung? We were listening to constant promises. This person's going to flip and sing. He's going to flip and sing. Rick Gates, Manafort, Papadopoulos going to flip and sing. The Dutch lawyer is going to flip and sing. And nobody's flipped, nobody's sung because there's nothing. There's no song called Trump Russia. There's no song called Trump Russia, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't exist. He did not, and the Senate came out today. Well, the Senate panel came out today and repeated they're certain about the NSA's moderate confidence. Wow. They are so certain. The Senate is absolutely certain. Trackhawk Ross, thank you. Thank you, Trackhawk Ross. Thank you, Trackhawk Ross, for your support. And thank you so much, everybody in the super chat. But Trackhawk Ross, thank you for getting this started. Super chat started this evening, and thank you so much. Thank you, Trackhawk Ross. But it is infuriating, but at the same time, remember, the plea deal was, really quickly, let's go ahead and look at that plea deal again, the Awan's plea deal, which it wasn't even about all the serious allegations. They didn't even investigate that. So As part of an agreement with prosecutors, Imran and one pleaded guilty to relatively minor offenses unrelated to his work on Capitol Hill, making a false statement on a bank loan application. But that's not what Luke Rosiak and the Daily Caller, and first of all, Luke Rosiak deserves a Pulitzer Prize for what he's done. He deserves a Pulitzer Prize for his work on the R1 scandal. 5,700 breaches, unauthorized access, or unauthorized breaches into a Democratic congressional server. So 5,700 times they infiltrated or breached the server, or whatever, however you want to call it, in an unauthorized manner. They logged on to the server over 5,700 times, and they did not the investigators never investigated the server. Just like they never, yes, the Daily Caller is awesome. I'm very lucky to have been published there many, many times. I agree with you. But House panel subpoenas FBI agent who wrote anti-Trump text. House panel subpoenas FBI agent who wrote anti-Trump text. Unclear if he will testify. So we'll see if Mr. Strzok is all talk, no action. His attorney was like, oh my God, they're already twisting his words. Well, what words are they twisting? Well, they're twisting the fact that he called Trump a menace, that he wanted to stop Trump, that he had an insurance policy about Trump, that he said Trump voters were smelly. They're twisting those words. How dare you twist those words? He didn't call Trump voters smelly. He said they had an odor that wasn't pleasant to the nostrils. Gosh, get it right. How dare you? House committee subpoenas FBI agent Strzok to testify in public. This is the Hill. Let's see if he pleads the fifth. Mr. I have nothing to hide. We already know that it was a conspiracy of individuals to frame Trump. It's very difficult. It's not difficult for people to say, yeah, there was no WMD. The intelligence community lied to us. 12B engineer, thanks HA, great reports, and HRC hates you, wicked man. HRC knows that I was an intern at the State Department back in the day. Or actually probably doesn't know, doesn't care. I was an intern at the State Department in college when the Clintons were in the White House. 12B engineer, thank you. Thank you. So imagine I was an intern at the State Department, the same State Department that Hillary Clinton would eventually run into the ground with her server. 12B engineer, thank you so much for your continued support and for watching this channel. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Trackhawk Ross. No, you did. You're awesome. I screwed up my first ever super. I appreciate that so much for you. What's your opinion on Cohen? What is he going to flip on? So Trackhawk Ross, thank you again, 12B engineer. Cohen is probably thinking that the feds might get him on some behavior either outside of Trump or some other issue that he's worked on with Trump, or just make his life miserable in any way possible. So he went on that with Stephanopoulos, that interview, and of course, who puts the president over their family? Who puts the president over their family? Nobody does. Everybody here watching puts your family above the president, even if you like the president. I'm voting for Trump in 2020. I put my family ahead of the president in terms of loyalty. Yeah, of course. Okay, so he said, and then I love the way the Democrats are like this, the political party of political schizophrenia. They're like, we're so moral. We don't like ICE. Well, why did Obama use ICE to deport 2.5 million people and to essentially orphan people by deportation, which is what orphaned by deportation, the article in The Guardian by, I believe, Lauren Gambino, journalist. And they used ICE, but now they hate ICE. Something in my eye. They're against Trump's demagoguery, but they blame Russia. Oh, it's Russia, but it's okay. We gave them 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. How did it benefit the country? Well, we gave a foreign power, an adversary we now hate. Apparently, I don't hate Russia. I don't think any Democrats do either, though. They're bluffing. They don't believe any of their value system, and they don't even believe this, too. They're just spewing it because it helps donors. It helps them with donor money. So they don't like Trump's demagoguery, but they're really blaming Russia for all their problems in life. If you stub your toe, scream Russia. Get an offender bender? Russia! Honey, where's the remote? Russia! It doesn't work anymore. All you need is batteries. Russia! It's awesome. Yes, Stipe looks awesome. He is awesome. They're both awesome. I think Cormier is fantastic and amazing, and Stipe is also amazing. They're just both like the two of the best fighters on the planet. They're just both like honest, hardworking, dangerous, great, intelligent fighters. So let's finish this. So House Committee subpoena FBI agent Strzok to testify in public. Two powerful House committees issued a subpoena for FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok to testify publicly at a joint hearing slated for next week. It was not immediately clear whether Strzok will comply with the order issued by the Judiciary Committee and the Oversight and Government Reform Committees. The committees issued their subpoenas for 10 a.m. on July 10th. In a letter to the Judiciary panel earlier this week, Strzok's lawyer accused the committee of selectively leaking portions of a closed-door interview Strzok provided last week, and called the standing invitation to testify publicly a trap. Having sharpened their knives behind closed doors, the committee would now like to drag back Special Agent Strzok. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is with all due respect to Strzok. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you busy? What are you doing? They kicked you out of the FBI. You don't have your security council. What are you doing? You having lunch with Paige? You should probably tell everyone else that. Everyone knows. So everyone knows about that one. What are you doing, Strocky Poo? A request that we originally made and the committee denied. Don't you know he was going on a trip to Europe? We made the request, and our schedule is all messed up now. So what are we supposed to do? You know, these people have no regard for corrupt FBI agents who literally write down their conspiracy. We're going to stop Trump. So we're going to stop Trump. What more do you have to do? I am going to make sure Hillary does not get indicted. Strocky poo. Instead of writing that, he goes, honey, because his girlfriend said, he's not going to get indicted, right? He's not going to get indicted. And he's like, no, we'll stop him. We'll stop him. Oh, and guess what else we found out? Hold on. I have this. So wait, the YouTube. Where's the YouTube? Where is it on the YouTube? Where is it on the YouTube? John Ratcliffe. Okay, destroys Rod Rosenstein. Okay, so it's on YouTube. So let's go ahead and do that. So John Ratcliffe, Peter Strzok. Okay, so where is this? Dang it. All right, so here, oh, hold on. All right, hold on one second. Oh, it's Ron DeSantis.
The "will stop it" text message. Why didn't the Justice Department produce that to Congress when we asked?
Mr. DeSantis, I spoke with our Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, yesterday, and he told me that when he testified, he didn't have a full opportunity to explain, and the technological details are pretty complicated, but he assured me he had had a long telephone conversation.
So they asked Rosenstein, why didn't you inform Congress of the Stop Trump text? Why didn't you inform Congress of the Stop Trump? A Sojourner. Thank you, A Sojourner, as always, for your continued support of this channel. The Super Chat ensures that I continue to do these live streams instead of me uploading, Clinton, upload. Mary Pettis, thank you. Mary Pettis or Mary Pettis, thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Mary, thank you so much, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary Pettis. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. A Sojourner. It is mandatory for all government employees to testify before Congress if subpoenaed to do so. Yes. Yes, and he might be plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I can't talk. I plead the fifth. It's an ongoing investigation. It's classified. The check's in the mail. It's not my problem. I wasn't there. It wasn't me. You know that Shaggy song? It wasn't me. That's what all these people are like. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Mary. Okay, definitely. So okay, so here. Here. Yes, hello. Is this Strocky Poo? You listen to me, Strocky Poo. You better go to that congressional. Don't talk to me like I'll get you, no problem. You go ahead right now. You go. You make sure you attend that subpoena, or I'm going to take out many subpoenas and throw them right in your face. Yes. Oh, you think that's the only subpoena? No. I have lots of subpoenas. Right? Go ahead and try me. And I heard what you were trying to do with the erectile, the ED. I heard what you were trying to do with the ED companies. You want to be a spokesman. You think you're all that and then some. You're not even tall, dark, and handsome. You got a big old landing pad on your head. It looks like Clapper's forehead is on the back of your head. You look like Clapper's forehead, but it's on the back of your head, you big old bald spot. You're bringing the 70s back. Even people in the 70s had a good decency not to use a hat or something, making everybody embarrassed. Anyway, I gotta go. Poo-poo out back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Mary. Thank you. And A Sojourner, you're 100% right, but he might say, yeah, Brian Pagliano, he's like, you see this subpoena? Jason Chaffetz, look at me. Look at me right now. I'm Brian Pagliano. Look at me. Look at me. You see this subpoena? You see this subpoenas? Subpoena, multiple subpoena, multiple. I'm going to rip it in front of you. Lyle Budd. Thank you, Lyle Budd. What deep, dark secret are they hiding, HA? I'll tell you exactly what they're hiding. Lyle, the only secret that they have, and of course, there's a lot of things going on, but the only secret. Thank you, Scotland. I have a lot of people from Scotland, and I love the people in Scotland, Scottish people. Anyway, so thank you, Scotland. Lyle, the only thing that they're hiding, which actually they're not really hiding, they're very proud of, they worship at the altar of bureaucracy. They worship at the altar of bureaucracy. And the god of bureaucracy will come striking down upon them. They worship, their lives are devoted to a corrupt form of, they call it lawfare or whatever. I call it just bureaucracy. They hide behind protocol and procedure and sources and methods and semantics, and they butcher and they mangle and they brutalize words. And they lost the election, didn't they? So every time they're happy, every single time they're jumping in the streets, every single time, Lyle, they're saying, oh, you know, oh, by the way, I want to eat haggis one day. I definitely want to eat haggis one day. I got to do the impressions that people asked me. So thank you. But they worship at the altar of bureaucracy. They worship at the altar of butchered semantics, twisted meanings. And they're like, haha, you can't catch me, ha 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 ha, crying at the Jacob Javits. She lost. How did that happen? Well, maybe because you're hated by the American people. Maybe you're hated by the American people. Maybe people are tired of knowing that a person is guilty and then they get away with it. And maybe people are tired with hearing that Trump and Russia colluded when there's no evidence. Maybe they're tired. So that's the thing. They worship at the altar of bureaucracy. The office of I won't then. The office of professional responsibility is going to kick them in the derriere. The office of professional responsibility. So here's an example. So once the office of professional responsibility hits Strzok, the way it hit McCabe, you'll see the dominoes falling. Then when James Comey gets indicted or sent or the office of professional responsibility says that he messed up and said that he violated protocol, then you're going to start seeing even more backpedaling, even more defending, even more defense. And then eventually this will all lead to Clinton indictments. That's going to take place. Not some shtick. It's just, look, Al Capone, Richard Nixon, they were far more powerful than Hillary Clinton. And everybody knows she's a criminal. That's why that's one of the reasons she lost the election, because people were like, this is a criminal. And I'm not going to vote for a criminal. I'd rather vote for Trump. And Trump's presidency has turned out to be pretty good. Good economy, peace between North and South Korea. Pretty good. Well, what about this? Don't cheat Bernie. If you really care about certain values, make sure the Democrats don't cheat Bernie. But I didn't. And then stop hating Trump so much. Take some of that hate and throw it at the Democratic Party. Democratic Party has every liberal value, just taken every liberal value hostage. We hate ICE. We loved ICE under Obama. We hate Trump's demagoguery. We hate, anyone Russian. We're going to blame Russia. Glock. I'm just reading this. It's not like some Second Amendment, twitch I have. CZ. Glock. No, it's a question. I'd rather have Glock. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, ladies and gentlemen? I think it's time for C-SPAN. Documenting the real-time collapse of the Democratic Party. People have said, Eche, that is a freaky voice that you have. I don't find it freaky at all. I find it the real-time collapse. Because we're here with the Georgia Bulldog, Doug Collins. He gets nasty. He gets nasty. Doug Collins is nasty.
And answering the question, I appreciate that.
Doug Collins speaks bureaucracy. Doug Collins speaks bureaucracy. To the 430 people here, do you like this voice? I do not. Why am I looking at the live chat when I should be looking at Doug Collins? Watch him get nasty.
With you both. Let's go back to something, though, that I asked you that you and I had a
This is C-SPAN.
Conversation about.
Documenting the demise of the Democratic obliteration.
A few months ago.
Eventually leading to Clinton indictments.
And this was
I'm going to start right now.
Mr. Strzok's issue. I asked you at the time, did he have his security clearance? You said that you would check. You would assume he did at that point. It now appears that the security clearance has been revoked. The concern I have here is, again, process inside the Department of Justice on what happens when you have someone of his caliber, counterintelligence level. This is not a new recruit. This has been around who's had very sensitive information. And on January 13th, 2016, an individual from the FBI's Washington field office emailed Mr. Strzok and other employees that their polygraphs were out of, I think it was out of scope. I asked you about that. And
the polygraph was out of scope. The polygraph arm flew off 20 feet, flew off. Janice Webb. Thank you, Janice Webb. Hi, H. I'm addicted to your channel. Why do you think so many people were willing to risk their careers for Hillary? Because they worship, this is Janice, thank you so much. They worship at the altar of bureaucracy, and their downfall politically will be at the altar of bureaucracy and protocol and twisted semantics. And they thought that Hillary had power. She was going to be the next president. And they could also worship at the altar of bureaucracy. And they could say, well, we're going to worship at this, it was a giant Hillary doll. Let's, Andrew McCabe, sure, give my wife $700,000. What could go wrong? Why not? Peter Strzok, yeah, honey, let's go ahead. Oh, my lover, my fantastic lover, Lisa Page. Yeah, I'm going to stop Trump. There's many ways I can, one of his dumb texts, I can save this country in many ways. What are you going to do? You save this country. We already know you had an affair. Your whole life is out in the open. You should have saved the affair for secret. You should have saved at least your reputation. You couldn't even save your reputation, much less the country. So he knows. So let's go down the list. Janice Webb, thank you. Let's go down the list. This is inspired by Janice's super chat. Let's go down the list of all the fantastic things that happen to people. The wonderful, wonderful things that happen to people when they help Hillary. Gee, let's look at the wonderful things. Okay. Anthony Weiner's in jail. No, that wasn't Hillary's fault. He just, sexted the whole planet. There's 18 classified emails on his laptop. That'll eventually come back to harm Uma and Anthony Weiner politically in a peaceful, political, legal manner. Then Strzok Poo had an affair that everyone knows of. Fine. I guess not that big of a deal in the overall scheme of things. But he documented the real-time conspiracy against Trump. Thanks, Strzok Poo. You have also not only you're going to relitigate, everything that he tried to accomplish, protecting Clinton, hurting Trump, the opposite took place. Now they're going to indict Clinton in large part because Strzok documented the real-time collapse of the FBI senior level reputation. Then you have James Comey, the imbecile, the gigantic imbecile, the biggest imbecile on the planet. The guy happens to be close to 7 foot tall. He's literally the biggest imbecile on the planet. If you take this guy seriously or any of them seriously, they're like performance artists. They say Alex Jones is more authentic than James Comey. When I like Alex Jones. When he's yelling about, frogs and stuff, that's more authentic than James Comey. Oh, gee, the crop looks great here. The crop? Chuck Grassley wants to subpoena you. Subpoenas, multiple subpoenas. Because you're a liar. One of the biggest liars in American history. The biggest physically, but one of the biggest liars in American history. You couldn't find intent and you're the FBI director. You shouldn't even have been, you shouldn't even have stepped foot anywhere close to the FBI. Then he leaked classified memos. He's going to get it because of that. And then the Office of Professional Responsibility, going to get it because of that. Then there's Bruce Ohr, demoted. Then there's FBI Agent 1, Sally Moyer. And they're all numerous people who are prominently displayed are now, going to get it from the Office of Professional Responsibility. Then the dominoes will fall. Then eventually Clinton indicted. A Sojourner, HSC, Ambassador at Benghazi, Libya, was a good friend of hers. Where's he now? There you go. Silence Do Good. Please do the shirts, HA. I want to wear it next time I go to the range. Thank you. Thank you, Silence. Thank you, Silence Do Good. Thank you. A Sojourner, thank you. I think it's fantastic you go to the range. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Keep doing it. And I've been doing these live streams and haven't really had too much of a chance to go. I'm going to go actually this week. I have a nice surprise for a lot of people. It's pretty cool. A Sojourner, thank you. Silence Do Good, thank you. If you're watching also, please go ahead and ever since I've been doing these live streams, the channel really doesn't increase in terms of subs. So I'm stuck at like 116,300. So go ahead, let people know about this channel and, share this segment. But I like Oak Tree outside LA. Oak Tree outside LA is fantastic. Great people there. Extremely knowledgeable. Extremely knowledgeable people. And thank you, Eric. Thank you, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so, all right. Let's just continue. So Doug Collins gets nasty. I have to do the Doug Collins. I've done the Doug Collins a lot, but it's the gift that keeps on giving. So Strzok, we don't know if he failed his polygraph. We don't know. Disobedient media is the best. I love disobedient media. Tamara Friedman. They need to start the arrests. The mockingbird media is rabid and out of control. Exactly. Exactly, Tamara Friedman. Thank you so much, Tamara. Thank you. for your continued support of this channel. Thank you so much. Marcus Oakes, thank you. Tamara Friedman, thank you, Tamara, as always, for watching and your continued support. The arrests need to start, but you know what's going to happen. I keep on saying they alter at they worship at the altar at the worship. They worship at the altar of butchered, twisted, mangled semantics and vapid bureaucracy, vapid bureaucratic protocols. A bureaucracy is like an animal that you mistreat. Animals are full of love, but if you mistreat, you know, any animal, they're going to turn around and bite you. And a bureaucracy is just like that. They hide. Well, you know, that's these memos. I have memorialized what happened. What the deal is, I've memorialized. Don't you know? Metalhead, happy Independence Day, HA, and all the cool YouTubers out there. Peace, love. Thank you. Thank you, Metalhead. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Independence Day to you. Have a safe and wonderful July 4th. Thank you. Tamara Friedman, thank you again. Metalhead, thank you. And happy 4th of July to everybody. Hail Saturday. Yeah, if you can get it. If you can get it. The only thing is if you can get it. It's very difficult to get the permit. Doug Collins, he lied. Why did he lied on he didn't pass the like it doesn't seem like he passed the polygraph. It was out of focus. Out of focus. Ding.
Asked you if he had been polygraphed. You didn't know at the time. It said the polygraph raised flags. Now, my question about this would be, you didn't know about the polygraph at the time. We'll just assume now that it is out there you do. Would the topic of the extramarital affair have come up in that polygraph, or a possibility come up in that polygraph of Mr. Strzok that could have put it out of scope? I do not know that either way.
Doug Collins, in a very coy, very bureaucratic. See, he speaks bureaucracy. He speaks bureaucracy, Doug Collins. So he's like, oh, by the way, he was cheating on his wife. And by the way, he lied about that on the polygraph, or it was out of focus. So what else did he lie about? And what else was out of focus? Can you explain what else was out of focus? Because I'm going to focus on the, I'm going to emphasize the fact that he was stooping another FBI official. Let's focus on Doug Collins is a ruthless, vicious Georgia Bulldog.
I have no idea what would have been raised.
And Christopher Ray, like Rod Rosenstein's like nastier than Christopher Ray. I always say this, I always do, but it's so fantastic. Rod Rosenstein is nastier than Christopher Ray. Sorry, so, yeah, but Christopher Ray is like, you know, a Boy Scout, and he's like, I have no idea, sir, but you know, I don't even want to talk about this.
Is in any specific person's polygraph at this moment.
Could he have passed a polygraph given the text? And I'm putting this in context of the text that we see now before continuing in very sensitive areas such as the investigation, the Mueller investigation, again, the Hillary, but knowing the bias that we have seen that we've commented on today. If those texts taken into account were on this polygraph, and could he have passed a polygraph if he, you know, on his own ability, denying an affair with Lisa Page?
Well, Congressman, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals, especially hypotheticals when, as I've said before, we have referred a number of individuals, mentioned it prominently in the report, to our Office of Professional Responsibility for the appropriate disciplinary process, and my commitment to doing things.
We have referred a number of individuals mentioned prominently in the report to the Office of Professional Responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, do you work in a corporation? Have you ever worked for the government? You ever worked for a school? Have you ever worked for any place where there's a higher up and that higher up has a higher up? Have you ever worked for the mafia? Have you ever worked for, any corporation, any business where there's a whole bunch of people and middle managers? Your boss has a boss. Whatever your boss sometimes does to you, he gets it from his boss or her boss. And then that person gets it from her boss or his boss. The poop flows downhill. A number of people mentioned prominently. Who more prominently than Strzok? Who more prominently? God bless you. God bless you, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Thank you. Thank you, and God bless you, and thank you for your service, and thank you for watching this channel. Who more prominently than Strzok? Who more prominently than Comey? Who more prominently than Andrew McCabe? And a number of individuals. No, I don't have a sister. A number of individuals. A number of individuals mentioned prominently in text. Let's say I do have a sister, but I'm not going to I don't talk about family here. But a number of individuals mentioned prominently Strzok, Page, Lisa Moyer. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where a number of individuals are going to get it. Let's hear this again.
And that's fine, and that's why you're on record here and answering the question, and I appreciate that, and with you both. Let's go back to something, though, that I asked you, that you and I had a conversation about a few months ago, and this was Mr. Strzok's issue. I asked you at the time, did he have his security clearance? You said that you would check. You would assume he did at that point. It now appears that the security clearance has been revoked. The concern I have here is, again, process inside the Department of Justice on what happens when you have someone of his caliber, counterintelligence level. This is not a new recruit. This is somebody who's been around, who's had very sensitive information. And on January 13th, 2016, an individual from the FBI's Washington field office emailed Mr. Strzok and other employees that their polygraphs were I think it was out of scope. I asked you about that and asked you if he had been polygraphed. You didn't know at the time. It said the polygraph raised flags. Now, my question about this would be,
so the guy, the FBI agent, has a problem with polygraphs. He also has a problem, obviously, with the truth, and he has a problem not stooping his fellow coworker, and he has a problem with Trump, and he has a problem asking how Hillary Clinton, because I can't believe I went 44 minutes into this and didn't say that she transferred top secret intelligence from SIPRNet, JWICs, and SCIFs onto a basement server that will eventually lead, whether it's the Espionage Act or campaign finance reform or RICO laws, to charges being filed by Sessions. Doug Collins is a nasty, nasty man.
you didn't know about the polygraph at the time. We'll just assume now that it is out there you do. Would the topic of the extramarital affair have come up in that polygraph?
Touchdown, Georgia Bulldogs.
Or a possibility come up in that polygraph on Mr. Strzok that could have put it out of scope?
I do not know that.
Either way.
I have no idea what would have been raised in any specific person's polygraph.
I love the Boy Scout, Chris was like, please don't ask me again if he has stupping page and the polygraph arm flew off the handle. It was going like this. Don't ask me again. I have no idea who he was stupping. I have no idea. I don't know how many women at the FBI Strzok was with. I have no idea. I'm here right now to be a good person. I really am not comfortable with this. I wasn't even there. I have no idea what Strzok was doing. Oh, Tamara Friedman, thank you so much. Happy 4th to you and your family. Happy 4th to all your wonderful viewers. This is for everybody here. 590 people. Tamara Friedman, thank you so much. Thank you, Tamara. And happy 4th to everybody. Eat some hot dogs and hamburgers and relax and wieners, but Anthony Weiner, no. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Happy 4th to you and your family. Thank you so much. And happy 4th to you and your family, Tamara. And thank you so much always for watching. Happy 4th to all your wonderful viewers. Happy 4th of July. Yes. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Thank you. And happy 4th of July to the Georgia Bulldog, Doug Collins. Watch what he does to Ray.
Graph at this moment.
Could he have passed a polygraph, given the text, and I'm putting this in context of the text that we see now before continuing in very sensitive areas such as the investigation, the Mueller investigation, again, the Hillary Clinton, but knowing the bias that we have seen that we've commented on today, if those texts taken into account were on this polygraph, and could he have passed a polygraph if he, on his own ability, denying an affair with Lisa Page?
Well, Congressman, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals, especially hypotheticals when, as I've said before, we have referred a number of individuals, mentioned it prominently in the report,
Touchdown!
to our Office of Professional Responsibility for the appropriate disciplinary process, and my commitment to doing things by the book includes not, as FBI Director, commenting on them while they're ongoing.
Okay, let's just go back to process and personnel here. If they're out of scope, do you think it's interesting that you would continue to have someone in an investigation of such magnitude and sensitivity who basically had a failed polygraph or an out-of-scope polygraph test in which they had to then go back and re-answer or complete sensitive compartmentalized information requests on this? Would they stay in that investigation? And if so, were they treated differently because of his position or who he was?
Well, again, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals about individuals that may have been referred for our disciplinary process.
Yeah! I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals for people who we already referred to get their pensions taken, to get fired, to get their 20 years of service, thrown down the toilet. Well, Dana, here's the thing. I want a less hawkish foreign policy. And I feel that Trump is less hawkish. I don't think that any Democrat would have. I don't think that peace between North and South Korea would have commenced under any Democrat. I think that Trump is, he is less hawkish. I can't stand the whole blame Russia. And Democrats have to pay politically and peacefully, legally and politically and peacefully, for cheating Bernie. And also, these FBI agents must be exposed. Thank you, CJ. You too. These FBI agents must be exposed. There are good FBI agents. I've known really good, former FBI agents, really good people. But the corrupt people that give the thousands of great people at the FBI a bad name, they must be exposed. And they will. And we heard twice already. Twice from the Georgia Bulldog. Doug Collins, making Christopher Wray, said, yeah, they're already. So when it happens, the Office of Professional Responsibility descends upon them. Just remember that you heard it here. Kyle McDonald, happy 4th to all patriots. Thank you. Oh, sorry, K McDonald. Sorry, K. K McDonald. Thank you, K. Thank you, K. K McDonald, happy 4th to all patriots. Happy 4th of July to you, K. K McDonald, thank you again. Tamara Friedman, thank you again. Thank you. We're approaching 1 hour. Let's just continue. Happy 4th of July, K McDonald, Tamara Friedman, K McDonald.
Did not strike you as strange, though, Mr. Ray, and I was not going here, but now you've led me here. Is it not strike you strange that someone who has had an issue with a polygraph during the investigation which you have, in which sensitive information were coming about, in which we've now seen the text and other things, what would be that? So could they just flunk a polygraph and you just keep them on? If they could flunk questions, do you keep them on sensitive information simply because that? Not particular Mr. Strzok here. I'm talking an overall policy. Is your policy just to keep people around that lie?
Ha!
Of course not.
Of course our policy is not to keep people that lie, Doug Collins, the Georgia Bulldog. Of course. But we kept him on even though the lie detector flew off 15 feet. Let's continue. C-SPAN, documenting the destruction peacefully and politically of the Democratic Party.
Okay, then why would we have an issue here in which there is at least an assumption that something is not right? How did this individual continue to stay on investigations when there is polygraph evidence where he had to go back through and say it's out of sorts? And we know that from one of those, the other employees were in a relationship and later got married and disclosed that relationship.
Sally Moyer and Agent 1. So we have Agent 1 and Sally Moyer. We have FBI Strzok and Lisa Page. They're stupping left and right. It's a stup fest. That's all they do. K McDonald, happy 4th to all patriots and happy 4th of July to you. Tamara Friedman, happy 4th of July to you. We have almost 600 people right here. Let's continue. Doug Collins on C-SPAN, documenting the destruction of the Democratic Party peacefully and politically because they worship at the altar of bureaucracy.
This individual kept in an investigative role in this when there was a sensitivity factor here of possibly lying or even now we know bias.
Well, the time the gentleman has expired. The director would like to respond. As I have said repeatedly, we're going to hold people accountable and make sure that we follow our policies strictly. And that does not include me commenting on pending matters involving those people. I want to make sure that people are held accountable, but I want to make sure it's done right and by the book, and I'm not going to do it any other way.
And I understand that, Mr. Director, but also say this, and Mr. Rosen, you made this comment. I appreciate the comment earlier. You said this needs to finish appropriately.
So there you go.
Just from
there you go.
They included.
So there you go. I mean, so Doug Collins, Dan Noyes, Dan. Citizens are the sovereigns and the government only operates under license from us. The best and the brightest are not as clever as they think. Absolutely, Dan. The government works for us. From the president to the Congress to the NSA, they all work for us. We all pay their salaries. Citizens are the sovereigns, exactly. And the government only operates under license from us. Absolutely. The best and the brightest are not as clever as they think. No, they're not as clever. They think they're slick, but they're not slick at all. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan, very much. I appreciate that, and I agree 100%. D. Velasquez. Support HA, buy his books or super chat, and support our vets. Visit rescue22foundation.org online or on Facebook to donate or apply for a service dog. Wow. Especially, this 4th of July, to the brave and courageous men and women who protect this country. I just want to say thank you. If you're watching, I have active duty soldiers sometimes that watch my segments, and I'm very honored. And I have a lot of veterans who watch my segments, and I'm very honored. D. Velasquez, support Atria, buy his book or super chat and support our vets. Visit rescue22foundation.org online or Facebook to donate. Rescue22foundation.org. Apply for a service dog. Absolutely. I think there's a veteran. I'm not sure if he's a veteran, but he has this gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, like, I think German Shepherd, but it's like pretty big dog. It looks like a big, really big German Shepherd. And it's like, this is a gentleman at the gym. And the dog is just really beautiful. He's a service dog. Rescue22foundation.org. Rescue22foundation.org. So for veterans, check it out. Rescue22foundation.org online or Facebook. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you to all the veterans who watch this channel. And the really hilarious thing is they're like, the Democratic Party, like, you know, oh, put your country first. And they're like, oh, you know, we're going to have to do something, you know. But veterans love the Second Amendment. At the range, there's a great many veterans, and a bunch of the instructors are veterans. Dan Noyes, thank you. A government is the most dangerous threat to man's rights. It holds a legal monopoly on the use of physical force against legally disarmed victims. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. That's why the Second Amendment is so important. That's why I think James Madison and Thomas Jefferson and all of them. I'm not a socialist. I was never a socialist. I was never, ever, ever a socialist. In fact, I would always say that Bernie isn't a socialist. He said democratic socialist, and that was a whole other thing. But I'm not a socialist at all. But Dan, thank you. Government is the most dangerous threat to man's rights. It holds a legal monopoly on the use of physical force against legally disarmed victims. That's why I love the Second Amendment, and that's why I defend the Second Amendment, and I was very proud to have the NRA retweet my article. Dan, you are awesome, and you are extremely intelligent, and yes, 100%, I agree with you. Cooper Sees Truth. Thank you, Cooper Sees Truth, for your continued support of this channel. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Dan Noyes, thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, but thank you, Dan. Thank you, Cooper Sees Truth. He should have also asked Ray, do you think it serves justice and is moral to charge a decorated Army General, Flynn, exactly, for lying to the FBI on the word of an agent who himself cannot pass a polygraph? Wow, that's very true. So Strzok lied. Every single thing this guy touched, every single thing this guy touched became a debacle. Every single thing the guy touched became a debacle. Cooper Sees Truth, thank you. So here you have a situation where a known liar set up and framed General Michael Flynn, an honorable man, the day it went down, and Trump was wrong on this. He should never have let Flynn go. He should never have, if they wanted to get him on, you know, consulting for Turkey or whatever, then they could have been that issue. He should never, ever have let Flynn go. He should have kept Michael Flynn. He should never have given Fish Lips Al Franken that little tiny victory before he was exposed for who he was. Fish Lips. Because once the Democratic Party, these maniacal McCarthy-era Republicans, Once they went after Flynn, they got their initial victory. They fueled the paranoia with that, and they should have just simply said, well, why is he talking to Sergei Kislyak? Why was he talking? He was already exonerated. Trump should never have done that. They were rabid, and they tried every possible way to get him out. If anything, they should have kept Michael Flynn. And I understand Trump's rationale was, oh, well, you know, we have to start our presidency. We can't have this focus and da-da-da. And then they had this stupid thing. Oh, he lied to Pence. Who cares? There's no law that says you have to be honest with Pence. You know, and you don't even know if he lied to Pence. General Flynn is an honorable man. He was President Obama's Defense Intelligence Agency chief. President Obama. And he was one of the first people, and I cited him when I was on MSNBC, one of the first people who said, yeah, Hillary Clinton harmed national security. How many Democrats have been outed and Trump still, economy's great, he'll get reelected? I mean, Harvey Weinstein, Al Franken, a whole bunch of people in Hollywood. I thought it was supposed to be that, oh my goodness, you know, Trump's on the ropes. And now the Senate today, oh, you know, oh, there's a place that serves haggis. Oh my God. In LA? Thank you, Sean. Am I going to have to do this? I'm going to have to do this one day soon. To my people in Scotland, should I go get some haggis? Where's this place? Yes, looks like my kind of place. Nice. All right. All right. So a big shout out to Shala Collins, who is helping start a tremendous movement. I used to be a Democrat. I ran off Democrats. Okay, a few years ago, I changed my party affiliation. I am never going back. Hashtag walk away moment growing. Gee, you think the walk... So thank you, Shala Collins, for just your courage. Just retweeted the tweet again. Paula Spinoza, silence do good. Haggis is Scottish. Kiska. Okay. Paula Spinoza, and I'll get to Dan Noyes. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. Paula Spinoza, I don't know if you're into video games, but like the Halo days when you get outgunned, Trump and the Republican Party are the teabaggers. Happy 4th of July to all the vets. Thank you for our freedom. Paula Spinoza, 100%. You know, I go back to, well, I mean, I just remember like Sega hockey. And of course, Mike Tyson's Punch Out and all that. I'm like really old school. I'm old school. Paula Spinoza, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Happy 4th of July to all the vets. And thank you for our freedom. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Dan Noyes, thank you, Dan. When any rule or law is proposed, folks need to ask, or if it protects or promotes greater freedom for you, the individual, or does it rob freedom from you? Freedom is the linchpin upon which everything else happens. That's true. That's true. The only thing people would say, well, is, oh, well, you know, They have, you know, liberals and conservatives sometimes go out the notion of freedom, but I agree with you. That's why, I mean, for me, the Second Amendment is the ultimate freedom. Or First and Second Amendment. The First and Second. The Third Amendment's good too. I don't want, you know, redcoats sleeping with me. I don't mind. If it's Bill Clinton, you bring the redcoats here. I don't need the Third Amendment. If she's cute, she's wearing a red coat, no problem. Dan, 100%. When any rule or law is proposed, folks need to ask how or if it protects or promotes greater freedom for you, the individual, or does it rob freedom from you? Freedom is the linchpin upon which everything else happens. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Dan, for your continued support of this channel. Thank you. Thank you, Paul, for your continued support of this channel. Happy 4th of July, especially to our veterans and active duty soldiers. Thank you. Gabbers, the pile of crimes that Strzok and cohorts perpetrated call into question every case they've been involved in. Excellently well stated. A treasure trove for defense lawyers. Absolutely. Absolutely. They keep postponing the sentencing of Flynn. He should never, ever, ever have sentenced Flynn. I mean, they should never have simply, they should never have gone after Flynn for a number of reasons. So, Gabbers, you're 100% right. The pile of crimes that Strzok and cohorts perpetrated call into question every case they've been involved in, a treasure trove of defense for defense lawyers. And Dan, I agree with you 100%. Laws need to promote freedom. I can't, but I used to be able to play porn. Dan, thank you. What makes these folks, Dan, thank you so much for your continued support and your generosity. What makes these folks so brazen? Sovereign immunity. Eliminate sovereign immunity from all non-elected, non-military government employees. Let us pull the wizards out from behind the curtain. Absolutely. And they will be pulled by their own wretched bureaucracy because they worship at the altar of bureaucracy and it's going to bite them in the behind. Jamie Paredes, thank you. Jaime Paredes, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Tam O'Shanter, Los Fios, best haggis in Los Angeles. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie or Jaime. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jaime. Thank you. I'm going to try that. Thank you. I was actually just told right now to go there. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll try some haggis. Red State Annie. It sure seems like Sessions is stonewalling. Is he really willing to go after HRC? Doesn't look like it to me. Poo-poo out. Thank you. I think that Sessions is basically, and this ties into what Dan was talking about. Dan Noyes, thank you. What makes them, I think, so brazen? Yes, sovereign immunity. Eliminate sovereign immunity from all non-elected, non-military government officials, employees. Let pull the wizards. I think that they'll be pulled out of the wizards of the curtain by bureaucracy. Red State Annie, by the bureaucracy that they use that will turn against them. The Office of Professional Responsibility is just one example. Going after Strzok, Page, Comey, all of them. You do not want to be an FBI agent where your name is known by people on YouTube and people, you know, because the Office of Professional Responsibility is embarrassed. The FBI is embarrassed. Christopher A is embarrassed. Retired FBI officers and officials and agents are embarrassed by Strzok and Page and Comey and Moyer and Lisa, Kevin Kleinsmith, you know, Wolverine guy. 100%. So wait, the Red State Annie, you're 100% right. Oh, Sessions. So I think Sessions is waiting for enough political will. First, they have to go through the protocols and the procedures and the bureaucracy that was altered and manipulated and butchered overtly to hurt Trump and to save Clinton. Then, once they get them pissed off enough or upset enough, once they get them saying, hey, what about my pension? What's going on here? Then I think that eventually things are going to lead to Clinton getting indicted. She's a walking criminal. And whereas they say Trump is a criminal because of all those wonderful questions they ask, like Bill Maher, is like, how come all these meetings took place? Not one meeting, and he didn't even get the emails. So, but let's listen to Ron DeSantis real quick.
The messages we now have, except the "will stop it" text message. Why didn't the Justice Department produce that to Congress when we asked?
Mr. DeSantis, I spoke with our Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, yesterday, and he told me that when he testified, he didn't have a full opportunity to explain, and the technological details are pretty complicated, but he assured me he had had a long telephone conversation with Mr. Jordan after the hearing and explained it. He's much better positioned than I. What I can assure you.
So let me just ask this then. Let me say this.
Well, I can assure you that we didn't stop the Stop Trump text. Paul Johnson, H.A. Haggis channel now. God bless the vets. Happy Independence Day to all. Yes. Paul Johnson, this live stream loves. No, I really want to try it. It wasn't. Paul, this live stream loves veterans, and you're 100% right. God bless the vets. Happy Independence Day to all. I would say especially veterans and families of soldiers and veterans, men and women who do so much. And I just want to thank you. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Dan. Dan Noyes, thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. H.A. Haggis channel now. God bless the vets. Happy Independence Day to all. Let's go ahead real quickly. So Ron DeSantis is like, well, why did you hide the Stop Trump text message? Oh, well, you know, Horowitz, and it was a technical glitch, yada, 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 baloney.
Thanks, sir. I want to assure you and the American people, we're not withholding anything embarrassing.
I just want to let you know, Jim Jordan's awesome. He has Mountain Dew and Minute Maid. He had, he's ready to rock. He's got Mountain Dew. So they show Ron DeSantis, but above him is a podium with Jordan and some other congressmen. And you just see Mr. Jordan, Mountain Dew, water, and orange juice. Yes. Getting the sugar rush to get with to just expose Rosenstein. Let's go on.
The message was not in the original material that Inspector General, he found these messages.
Right, so you guys didn't find it, and he did. And so we're asking you to produce stuff, and obviously, you know, we're expecting a good faith effort. You guys didn't find it, and maybe somebody else deleted or something happened before you guys, but he was able to find it, and you didn't. So it's very disappointing to see that text message there, because I think you would agree. Just think of the timeline here. You have,
and also, so basically, Rod Rosenstein kind of gets, you know, tries to just circumvent that. But these are supposed to be leaders, people who lead. These, and then look at how they react. Well, it wasn't me. I'm sorry. I can assure you, I tried my best. Gee, every single excuse in the book. I thought leaders are supposed to not make excuses. I thought leaders are supposed to get things done, make things happen. I thought that's what leaders do. Zero accountability, 100%. Let's continue.
Peter Strzok, he opens up the counterintelligence investigation against Trump's campaign at the end of July. Then a week later, this text message, he ain't going to be president, we'll stop it. Then the next week, the infamous insurance policy text message where he says, we can't take the risk of a Trump presidency, you need an insurance policy. The American people see that. Doesn't that undermine the whole integrity of the actions of people like Peter Strzok?
Yes, Congressman, that obviously is highly inappropriate. And
well, it's more than that, though. It's more than that. I mean, the inspector.
Yes, it's highly inappropriate. That's not what he asked, though. It undermines everything. Trump should fire Mueller tomorrow.
General did find that the bias affected. He didn't say it affected the decision about Hillary, but he said once we got into the fall, when you had the Huma Abedin emails and there was slow walking on that by Peter Strzok, he was really concerned with pursuing this collusion investigation. And he testified on the record that it was absolutely reasonable to say that the bias not only existed, but affected what he did. Let me ask you this. What did the DOJ or FBI do in terms of collecting information, spying, or surveillance on the Trump campaign, be it via Stefan Halper or anybody else working on behalf of the agencies?
As you know, Congressman, I'm not permitted to discuss any classified information in an open setting, but I can assure you that we are working with oversight committees and we're producing all relevant evidence to allow them to answer those questions.
Let me ask you this then. Did the Obama administration, anybody in the administration, direct anybody, Halper or anybody else, to make contact with anyone associated with the Trump campaign?
As I said, Congressman, I appreciate, obviously, I understand your interest, but I'm not permitted to discuss classified information.
I'm not permitted to discuss classified information pertaining to Obama telling Halper or instructing people to spy on Trump for Hillary. It's all for, she wasn't even in government and all of this was taking place to help her. Probably the most important thing I said in the whole, what, hour and a half or so. I hope DeSantis wins as governor of Florida.
The documents, so I know we're going to back and forth on that, but
check this out again.
Anybody in the administration direct anybody, Halper or anybody else, to make contact with anyone associated with the Trump campaign?
As I said, Congressman, I appreciate, obviously, I understand your interest, but I'm not permitted to discuss classified information.
Well, we want the documents, so I know we're going to back and forth on that. But
and these are supposed to be these like wonderful lawyers. They're so smart, and it's just a back and forth semantic game. Well, I can't really talk about it's classified. Well, that's not what I asked. I asked if President Obama instructed anyone to spy on Trump. Well, I can't talk about classified information. So you're alluding to the fact that there's classified information. You're alluding to the fact that there's classified information regarding President Obama spying on Trump. Is that correct? Well, it's can't really. Oh my goodness. Thank you, everybody.
But the American people need to know were the counterintelligence powers of the Obama administration unleashed against Trump's campaign. If that was done, was it done inappropriate? Let me ask you this. You know, they talk about the Mueller investigation. It's really the Rosenstein investigation. You appointed Mueller. You're supervising Mueller. And it's supposedly about collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia and obstruction of justice. But you wrote the memo saying that Comey should be fired. And you signed the FISA extension for Carter Page. So my question is to you, it seems like you should be recused from this more so than Jeff Sessions, just because you were involved in making decisions affecting both prongs of this investigation. Why haven't you done that?
Congressman, I can assure you that if it were appropriate for me to recuse, I'd be more than happy to do so and let somebody else handle this, but it's my responsibility to do it. And all I can tell you
then how do you have obstruction of justice possibility for a president exercising his powers to fire an FBI director that you said should be fired? And oh, by the way, the IG report makes it clear Jim Comey should have been fired. So why are we still doing this with the Mueller probe?
Sir, I am not commenting on what is under investigation by the Mueller probe, and to the best of my knowledge, neither is Mr. Mueller. I know there's a lot of speculation in the media about that, but that doesn't relieve me of my obligation not to discuss the subject matter of the investigation.
Do you accept what IG Horowitz said regarding Peter Strzok and the fall campaign with Huma Abedin emails, how he slow-walked that versus how he was so gung-ho about the Trump-Russia collusion? Remember, he texted Lisa Page, The other thing, Hillary mattered because we didn't want to mess it up, but this matters.
Findings of the Inspector General report, and I think those messages clearly do indicate bias.
They clearly do indicate bias. He finally caught Rosenstein to admit that there was bias. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below, or actually that's what I used to say on my uploads. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and we will return. We will return in a couple of hours for a little HA After Dark. And I want to thank you all. Thank you for your support. Everybody in the super chat, you've been absolutely wonderful. Everybody in the live stream. And the best is yet to come, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, he who laughs last laughs best. July 2016. Yay, Hillary's exonerated. She's a criminal, but she got away with it. Ha ha. Oh, Jacob Javits Center. People are upset. They're sad. They're crying. They're weeping because Hillary lost. Political karma is a Clinton. Share this segment everywhere. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit subscribe right now. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much, everyone on this stream. And happy 4th of July. Have a safe and beautiful happy 4th of July. And to the veterans and to active duty soldiers who happen to be watching, God bless you and your families. And thank you for everything you do for our country. I will see you soon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.